Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery, Smart Money Alliance, and IIMFL. We get together at 8 o'clock Central, most Mondays through Fridays here on Zoom to talk about success stories, training, tips, and answer questions and even address concerns. Today's presentation, we had originally planned to talk about some of the new affinity relationships we've developed. We signed a new Chamber of Commerce just this morning in the Midwest United States. Yesterday, one of our affiliates, Charlotte, brought us onto a three-way call with the Chamber on the West Coast, and we've already planned our first financial literacy event with them. However, since we're growing so quickly and we have so many new mentors coming on, our focus needed to be to make sure that you're properly positioned to work with clients. So that's what we're going to focus on today, on the Financial Literacy Educator training of the mentoring process. So keep in mind, as distribution partners, we have affiliates who just simply generate awareness, refer in, and get paid, and that's just fine. And then we have those that are more of an involved role. We call them financial literacy educators. There's no cost to be a financial literacy educator. You do have to go through a third-party background check, which they do charge you for, but we reimburse you. You need to be licensed, and if you're not licensed, it's okay. We can get you licensed, and we can even reimburse you for that. But ignoring that background, let's just drill in to this quick 10 to 11 slides that's very, very important, that if you're wanting to work with small business owners, you want to get paid, you want to help them improve their financial literacy, you want to help them increase access to capital, you need to know this information. So let's go through it, and it's built full of checklists. All right, so on the right-hand side, you see that we have our access to capital program. There's no upfront cost for the client, $100,000 guarantee, minimum guarantee, and we work with them initially with a 4-week curriculum to build their financial literacy and build their loan package. And that's what our financial literacy educators are involved with, that 4-week process. So this training here is going to get you crystal clear on what you do each of those weeks to make sure that you're helping the client be successful and also making sure that you're able to monetize your role. As far as my background, I'm one of the co-developers of this Access to Capital program. We first started working on this several years ago when I worked for the SBA, and we were doing programming through the local Small Business Development Center. It has continued to grow and evolve, and we're really excited about how it operates now, the great experience the client has, and how it can generate significant income for you. I'm also the executive director of our 501c3, the Institute for Improved Minority Financial Literacy. I used to be a college professor and actually assembled a curriculum and taught it to credit earning college students. It was a full semester class. We could offer it in person, online, or hybrid. And we actually went through something very similar to what we do now, but for our clients in this model, we've compressed it to a 4-week curriculum rather than being stretched out over 12 to 16 weeks like a college class is. I used to be a SCORE mentor, and you may or may not be familiar with SCORE. It's a great nonprofit organization full of volunteers, and I was the workshop chair for a 14-county area in North Texas. Coming out of graduate school, I worked for Deloitte & Touche. I was a senior consultant with them. I traveled the country and worked on large-scale capital raises. My probably most noteworthy client when I worked for Deloitte was the state of Florida. So I don't mean some small business in the state of Florida. The state of Florida was my client. They would fly me down, and I would work on large financial projects as a consultant for them. And as I alluded to, I used to be paid by the SBA, worked as an employee of the Small Business Development Center. I've been a licensed insurance agent since 1996, and I think you can kind of feel that what we've evolved to is really serving two explicit but complementary purposes. We help small businesses increase financial literacy and increase access to capital, so that's good. But at the same time, we're probably one of the best lead generation systems for insurance professionals, because we take the sales out of insurance sales. It's part of the loan package. And so again, I've been licensed since '96. I currently work with just over 100 licensed insurance agents across the country. I have 2 graduate degrees, one in finance, one in strategic planning, and my undergraduate degree is in accounting. Okay, so what's the purpose of this training? We want to prepare you as a financial literacy educator to effectively assist clients in completing the 4-week small business certification process. So that's the first phase of the Access to Capital program. The Access to Capital program, think of it as an umbrella. It includes the small business certification, which is the initial 4-week curriculum to build financial literacy and build their loan package. We have some clients that just come in specifically for the small business certification process. Others enroll under the larger umbrella, the Access to Capital. The Access to Capital program works well because it eliminates any upfront cost for the participant, and it guarantees them a $100,000 capital raise. The point I'm trying to make, though, is it doesn't matter if they're coming into just the 4-week curriculum or the full Access to Capital program with no upfront cost. The first 4 weeks is the same. That's what our mentors do, our financial literacy educators do as a mentor. So what's going to happen is, again, they're going to go through the structured curriculum, which we'll talk more about in a moment, and we're gathering data. We're working with them on their business plan and financial projections and personal financial statement. We're setting up their key person policy. We're putting all these pieces together. And from that, then at the conclusion of the 4 weeks, we can make recommendations to them of the best source or sources of capital based upon their circumstances. It's crucial for you and for them to understand there are many different sources of capital: debt-based, equity-based, earned income. Within the debt-based world, there's loans, SBA loans, lines of credit, all kinds of different options. But it's through this gathering of data that we determine what is the right source of capital based upon their circumstances. If you want to be one of our financial literacy educators that's going to do the mentoring, which it's well worth your time, but I'll talk about money in a second, then you need to understand the expectation that you'll have a Calendly link, and I'll show you the process in a moment, but your clients that you're mentoring are going to schedule 4 weekly sessions with you. So once a week for 4 weeks, 15 minutes. There's very specific items that we need to address, and I'm going to go through that with you so we're all crystal clear. Now, once they get done with that 4-week process, then you're done. You've finished. You've completed your mentoring role. You will have generated probably right around $1,000 for doing that 1 month of mentoring per client, which isn't get rich quick, but it's not bad. But at that point, then they'll work with our staff and our team on funding. So you're working with them on getting them educated, building their financial literacy, guiding them through the process to build their package, and then we'll take it from there. Now, there are some prerequisites. You need to be set up as an affiliate if you want to be a financial literacy educator. It's free and easy to become an affiliate. The affiliate program is not network marketing, it is not MLM, but it certainly has overrides. So there is a great incentive for you to keep your eyes and ears open for others that might want to be affiliates as well. So one can be an affiliate without being an educator, but all educators should really be an affiliate because that allows you to share in the client's capital raise. If you're not an affiliate, then you certainly will be paid for that mentoring portion, but you're not then getting paid for part of the capital raise from the client, which would be kind of crazy to leave that off the table. So there's a few other prerequisites that really you should have already done before this, but if not, you can use this as a checklist to get caught up. So we recently recorded a training on how to help your clients get off to a great start. And we certainly need you to listen to that. So it's not all included in this module. You'll need to listen to it, view it separately. You should have submitted and passed the background check. We simply can't have you working as a financial literacy educator mentoring small businesses if you've not passed the background check. We don't charge anything for that. The third party does charge for that, but that's reimbursable, so no worries. We need to get you appointed with Nationwide. Nationwide Insurance is our preferred insurance partner for writing the key person policies. So if you've not done that, again, make note, we'll work with you to resolve that. As I mentioned, the small business certification is composed of a 4-week curriculum. You need to be familiar, obviously, with what we cover during those 4 weeks because you're the one mentoring and guiding them through that. All of those links are on the small business certification page shown here on your screen now. Best practice would be for you to actually go through the Access to Capital program yourself as a client. That way we can help you raise capital and you've actually walked the walk. But even in the absence of that, you can at least watch the 4 modules and get much more familiar with them. When we build the policy out for clients, it's usually a Nationwide Accumulator 2 IUL, and it's usually serving 2 purposes. Number one, it's serving as the collateral assignment that may be needed for their loan instrument. So that's kind of falling under that key person policy definition. And then also usually it is set up to also be a retirement and asset protection tool for the business and the business owner. So it's kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We put together a white paper and you'll find a link to it on our career page. If you've not read that, you should, because it helps you understand the mindset behind it. And it has some opinions and input from CPAs of why they really like this model even better than a 401k concept for growing money. Also, you need to set up a Calendly link. Take Annette, for instance. Yesterday, we sent her 6 new clients to mentor. 6, and then another one this morning. So 7 total within a 24-hour period. Well, when we're handing a client off, and I'll describe this more in a moment to you, or in this case, Annette, we do a warm handoff and provide the client an introduction to Annette, and then also her Calendly link, so they can hop right on and schedule those 4 15-minute appointments. So the point here is we need to make sure that we have your Calendly link so we can do the warm handoffs so you can start mentoring clients. Now, if any of this is not crystal clear or you don't understand or you need help, that's fine. That's what we're here for. You've got our phone number. Our phones are answered typically live 7 days a week, not 24 hours a day, but 7 days a week. And then also you can email us. All right, so in terms of how we assign clients, let's talk about that. There are actually 4 different ways that you can have clients to mentor. Let's go through those 4. The first of which is probably the most obvious. You've generated a client. So wearing your affiliate hat, you've done something to generate a lead. And so, of course, if you generated that lead and then they enroll in the Access to Capital, of course, as long as you're set up to be a mentor, then you would be their mentor, of course. Why wouldn't that be the case? So let's take Charlotte yesterday. She brought us into that chamber. We had the 3-way call with the president of the chamber. The chamber said, I love it. Let's get started. We're having our kickoff event in right about 2 weeks from now. And so then Charlotte will have the option to be the mentor for about 250 small businesses that we expect to enroll in next month from the kickoff event we're doing on the 29th of this month. So if you develop the lead wearing your affiliate hat and they enroll, then of course you would be their mentor. Number 2, as I mentioned, we have the affiliate model. It's not MLM, it's not network marketing, but it has 3 levels of overrides. So there is an incentive for you to develop sub-affiliates and an incentive for them to develop their own sub-affiliates. Well, as they're out there creating leads and people are enrolling in the Access to Capital program with no upfront cost and a $100,000 guaranteed capital raise, then whomever generated the lead, we look and say, okay, are they a mentor? Are they set up to be a mentor? Yes or no? If yes, then it's number 1. If no, then we look to see who their master affiliate is, or in other words, who's one rung up, and are they set up? And if they're set up, then of course, then the client goes to that person to be their mentor. So what's the relevance of this? I mean, you could have multiple or dozens or hundreds of sub-affiliates that are out spreading the word about this free grant subsidized, no upfront cost, $100,000 guarantee program. They're talking to people in their sphere of influence or doing whatever they're doing to generate leads, which results in conversions. And now you have dozens and dozens of new clients to mentor every month. Also, you could have sub-agents. So for example, you might find someone that is either licensed that wants to also be a mentor. And again, we're not MLM or network marketing, but we have override income on the insurance side as well as on the capital raise side. And so often when you bring in a new sub-agent, just meaning someone that's on your team, often you'll want to do some hand holding and training with them. And usually you'll do a 50-50 split of the revenues when they're in that training period. That's frankly between you and them, but that is the third of the 4 ways to generate clients is you have sub-agents. So we had sub-affiliates here, which means they're not licensed, sub-agents, which means that they are. And then also, we can just assign clients to you. And I just gave you a truthful example. Again, yesterday, Annette got 6 new clients, 1 more this morning, and several of you have been receiving a steady stream of clients that we've been assigning to you. So they were developed at large. They were developed not by other financial literacy educators, but through other means. And our internal staff is at capacity, which is a blessing. So then we refer out. There are a number of different strategies that we've taught about generating clients. And so if you want to be involved with the client generation side, there's a number of videos here that you may want to watch. All right, second of 2 slides on client assignment. So when you're assigned a client to mentor, it's going to be crystal clear to you. 2 things are going to happen. When we execute that client's DocuSign for the access to capital, which they have no upfront cost for, we will then at that point assign a mentor. And if you're the assigned mentor, we'll turn around and forward you a copy of that executed DocuSign. So you know that it's not like a lead. It's not like, oh, someone that may be interested. This is someone that has signed up for the access to capital program, right? This is not a lead. This is a client that's being assigned to you. And then, of course, give you all their demographic information, their name, their email, their phone, their address. Nothing personal, nothing confidential, but their demographics, because you need to start working with them. And then we're also going to send them from our CRM a warm handoff, letting them know that you're going to be their mentor, giving them your Calendly link so they can be proactive. And then, of course, hopefully you'll be reaching out to them shortly thereafter to introduce yourself and make sure that they've scheduled those 4 appointments. Now, everything that I'm describing can be looked at 2 completely different ways. On one hand, you could say, wow, this is a great hands-on approach to helping clients, small businesses, improve their financial literacy and build their loan package. And that's a true statement. Also, you could say, wow, this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread for insurance professionals to get clients given to them. Because while almost everyone is not saving enough for retirement, nearly anyone has enough insurance to protect their assets, their business, and their family. Insurance is kind of a tough conversation just to get started. Here, by leading with financial literacy and access to capital, it's not a difficult conversation at all. So we're accomplishing 2 goals. We're helping the clients get what they want and they need and they expect. And then we're helping our distribution partners like you generate an adult income. When you're scheduling the weekly appointments, I schedule my clients for 15-minute blocks. That may be a little bit too aggressive for you. In other words, too short of a time frame. So you may want to even stretch it out to 30 minutes. But the way that this model is designed, that's all the time that you should need to spend with that client each week, other than actually writing the key person policy, which we'll talk about in a second. So let's say that you're concise and you schedule 4 15-minute blocks. So obviously that's a cumulative effect of an hour out of your time. So the question is, how many clients can you mentor? And so I was talking to Brian yesterday and asked, can you handle 100 new clients in the month of November? And he's shuffling his schedule because that's the type of volume we're going to be likely assigning him. So, when you think about it, the average insurance professional probably doesn't write 100 policies in a year. There's no reason that you shouldn't be writing 100 policies, if not in a month, at least per quarter. So we're going to have very specific goals for each appointment. I'm going to go through those so we're all on the same page. So you're delivering what the client's expecting. Now, again, I realize some of you are just affiliates and you're not financial literacy educators, but this is still very valuable for you to understand the inner workings. What's going to happen with those leads that you generate? All right, so in the first mentoring session, this is so important that we've already scheduled a complete separate training, and we've recently shared it with you, but here's the link. So it goes into a lot more depth than what we're going to go through in this overview. But let's go through the checklist. But please, 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 if you've not, or maybe even if you have, refresh yourself with how to get your client off to a great start. Okay, checklist for the first mentoring session. They should have received access to LivePlan. LivePlan is a cloud-based software that we use to build their business plan and financial projections. And with that, they have received 2 invitations to LivePlan. One directly from LivePlan when we set that up, and the other is when we do their onboarding email. Typically, we'll do our best to copy you. If you're the assigned mentor, typically we'll copy you on their onboarding email, and it has a link also to their LivePlan. So the only way that they could say, oh, I never got that, is if they're either not checking their emails, they gave us a bad email address, which is unlikely, or it could be getting caught in a spam or filter. So first thing you're going to do on that first mentoring session is, hey, Joe, I'm excited to work with you. I want to make sure first things first, did you receive your onboarding email? Have you been able to log into LivePlan? Now, with that being said, it's not your burden to spend the time and energy to help them build their business plan and financial projections. That would take obviously much greater than 15 minutes. That's not the deal here. That's not your burden. But did they get access so they can log into it? Certainly is point number 1. Point number 2, and it's a little bit redundant, but it's so important that you have this ingrained in your mind and in your clients' minds, that there's different sources of capital and each have their own underwriting criteria, because people won't assimilate that right away until they hear it a couple times, and they'll say, oh, does personal credit matter? And the answer is, well, it depends on the source of capital. Some sources of capital don't care about personal credit at all. Some do. Or they might say, well, my company's pre-launch, is this going to work? Well, sure, it'd work for some sources of capital. Some sources of capital don't care how long you've been in business. Some do. So you just have to be so consistent and clarify with them that there's different sources of capital. Each has a different underwriting criteria. We're going to go through this process to figure out what's right for them. We guarantee them a $100,000 capital raise, but we need to figure out what ingredients they have in their refrigerator so we know what we're going to make for dinner. That analogy means we got to figure out what credibility factors they have to know where we're going to go for their capital raise. We don't know that yet. You want to emphasize to them the 2 most important aspects to work on as they go through LivePlan. And we recently talked about this. And it's part of the get your client off to a fast start, the hyperlink in bullet 1. The financing needed, which is the bottom of the executive summary. I know this may seem out of context, but again, if you watch the video, it's at the top of this page. We went into detail. So this is just a restatement of that. The first thing we need to know is how much capital are we trying to raise and what is it going to be used for? So there's a specific spot in the LivePlan that's very obvious to put it. That may seem like a ludicrous question, or you would think, of course, but I'll tell you, probably over half the small businesses we work with, they don't initially know, and I'm not making light of them. I'm just saying that's how valuable what you and I are doing. Most of them don't know how much capital they want to raise, nor what they're going to use it for. Well, that's where we need to start. And so just let them know that at the bottom of the executive summary, there's a section called financing needed. Please start there. Put down how much capital you're looking to raise and what you're going to use it for. And then we need at least 1 month's budget. Now, if they're already an open business, then they would go to the most recent fully completed month and put in what their revenue and expense was there, because that's historical, that's accurate. And then from there, of course, we'll work with them and we'll project out 36 months. What you're encouraging them to do is get at least 1 month's budget in. So if they're already operational, it would be the last full calendar month. If they're not yet operational, it would be their first month of operation in the future. Keep in mind, there's 3 ways and only 3 ways that a small business can get capital. Debt-based, number 2, equity-based, number 3, earned income. I'll tell you from my experience of working at Deloitte, working at SBDC, working at SCORE, being a college professor, what I've learned is most small businesses don't have the earned income they need. Maybe it's because they didn't have the money to get started yet, or maybe just things are slow or whatever reason. So what I need you to feel comfortable in is realizing that we are a resource. You and I, we are a resource for small businesses of all 3 types of capital. Debt-based, money that we borrow, we promise to pay back. Equity-based, money that we don't have to pay back. And earned income. Now, earned income, we're not going to go work next to them and make more donuts or sell more mufflers, but they can certainly become an affiliate on your team. Free and easy, no cost, because small business owners know who? They know other small business owners. And so just like if you and I went out for a nice dinner, we might tell other people, hey, that restaurant was really good. Well, there's an affiliate model that exists with Amazon and Google and eBay and many businesses, and we have it too, where simply by them referring people in, they get paid, and that generates earned income. So what you want to do, the 4th and final bullet here on the checklist for session 1, is to remind them, encourage them to become an affiliate. Now, you can put them on your team if they're not already an affiliate. Now, if they came from another affiliate and they're already signed up, then you've missed out on that opportunity. But if they're not already an affiliate with IIMFL, you should encourage them to do that. It's free, it's easy. We've already provided them a free landing page. It's actually on their onboarding email. And you know, you're not bugging them, you're not pushing them to do something that they don't want to do, but they would be crazy to not go ahead and get set up as an affiliate so they could earn extra earned income if they referred someone in using the landing page that they've already been provided. We automatically provide them a landing page now with their onboarding email. So that's first mentoring session, number 1. Number 2, it'll go quicker from here. So checklist for the second session. You want to make sure that they receive the email for the second lesson. There's 4 lessons. The first one goes out on day 0, if you will, and then every 7 days, the system automatically sends out the next. So the point is make sure that they receive the second lesson, and that's going to have the training video link, the YouTube, it's going to have the participant guide, and it's going to have other instructions. The instructions include doing a soft pull credit authorization. A soft pull does not impact their credit score, does not cost them anything, does not commit them to anything. But we're gathering data, right? We need to gather data to figure out what's the right source or sources of capital for them and their personal credit. We'll look at business credit too along the way, but their personal credit is an important element. So now they may come back and say, well, no, I didn't do that. I don't want to use my personal credit. Well, you don't have to use your personal credit for your capital raise, but we really do need a full data set to figure out what options you have. And so the soft pull authorization is a link that's in the email that goes to them. You shouldn't have to do anything other than just remind them, prompt them to do that. However, now you are going to roll your sleeves up here at the second mentoring lesson and help them complete the personal financial statement. We've trained you on this, and keep in mind, we do everything that we're talking about here for what, 30 or 40 minutes. We have an in-person training that we can certify you from A to Z on all of this one day here in our office. So we do live trainings most Fridays in our office. So there's less of do it on your own. We'll walk you through it all. But regardless, you need to know how to help them complete a personal financial statement, PFS. That is important. It's also incredibly valuable for you as you're preparing to write their key person policy, because now you know about their income and their expenses and their assets and their liabilities. You even know what other insurance coverage that they have, because that's all part of a PFS. So it's positioning you great for week 3, which we'll talk about, of course, next, which includes writing their key person policy. And again, don't be afraid to keep talking about earned income. So you're not beating them over the head saying, hey, come work with us, but you can just simply ask, well, how were your sales last week? What were your business deposits last week? And some people are doing fine, but a lot of them aren't. And so at some point, a business needs earned income, right? How are you going to borrow money and pay it back if you don't have earned income? Why in the world would an investor invest in you if you can't generate earned income? So earned income is an opportunity for you to actually ask them, hey, if you kind of enjoy this process, we could train you, no cost, how to be a mentor. You could work with other small businesses and make around $1,000 for each client you mentor. Would you be interested in that? And a lot of them will say, hell yeah, I'd love to do that. I need some extra income. That would be fun. And then all you do is give them your link for the background check. This is my link. You probably wouldn't want to give them my link because I'm going to get credit. Instead, you would give them your link. It'll look just like this, but the last 5 digits would be your agent code. And you'll be surprised. You may look at this with a bit of an eyebrow raised, but I'll tell you, don't be surprised that most of the clients that you mentor will also become affiliates, which was we talked about previously, and on lesson 1. And a good number of those will say, well, yeah, I'd like to go ahead and be a mentor as well. All right, the third mentoring session is you're going to confirm that they received that email for the third lesson. Again, it goes out automatically from the CRM, so there's little chance that they didn't get it. Maybe they just didn't pay attention to it, but just start with that. And then we need to make sure, and we've educated them with that third lesson about what a smart money plan is. But now, obviously, you need to reiterate that because you're getting ready to write their policy. And when you write the policy, you want to determine a budget for the smart money plan. And of course, it has to be suitable for the client based upon their circumstances and their needs. But keep in mind, we don't want to go into the mindset of the smaller the better, right? Well, sure, that reduces the premium, but that also reduces their growth. That reduces their retirement when they're going to need it later down the road. So you need to come up with a budget. Now, originally, we led primarily with clients paying the annual premium up front, which frankly lenders prefer, but we know we're going to be able to help more people if we do monthly billing. And so it's really up to your discretion. It's just that they need to understand the dual benefit. Both this is a long-term play to protect your assets and to build income, as well as the collateral assignment. So ultimately, you need to determine a budget and you need to put together the policy. And we have a training on that right here. And now what's the nice thing is you're going to get paid right away. Once you submit that policy in, as long as it's in good order, you're getting part of your commission, 40% of your commission right then. So you're getting paid in the first month of working with clients. You should be paid right about the same time that you're concluding this 4-week mentoring session with them. All right, so that takes us to the fourth and final mentoring session. Our checklist here, again, make sure that they received the email for the fourth lesson. There's little likelihood that they hadn't, but just to make sure that they have. Make sure that they're progressing with any loose ends on their key person policy. So for example, when you submit the policy into Nationwide, then they're going to have one of their paramed companies contact the client either online or telephonic based upon how you instructed Nationwide to do it, to do their physical, their blood pressure and height and weight and so forth, unless they qualified for minimal underwriting. So with that, you want to make sure that they're engaged in that, right? Once we submit the policy, the next step is for their paramed visit in most cases. So you just want to prompt them to make sure that they're engaged with that. And you'll be getting emails from IMS, which is the preferred paramed, to let you know if it's been scheduled or not. But nonetheless, that's number 2. And then most importantly, on the fourth session, what we're doing is we're getting ready to put together their loan package. And so in that fourth email, it includes a list of here's all the documents you need to gather. Now, understand that they might not have all the documents. So for instance, we asked for the last 3 months bank statements. So they might say, well, I just opened my bank account yesterday. I don't have 3 months. Well, fine then. You wouldn't have 3 months. We're not asking you to go create something that doesn't exist. We don't know what you have or don't have. So here's the list. So we're going to send them a Dropbox to upload all their files to. That is not your burden. Again, you're only spending 15 minutes with them, just guiding them through the process. And number two is maybe the most important step of these on this page here for you, because it's continuing to move towards the policy issuance. At that point, you're done working with them. You've completed the 4-week mentoring. Then one of our financial advisors is going to pick them up and then work with them through funding. You've done your job. Now, most likely, you've created a relationship with this person, right? You spent a month with them. You've helped them learn a lot. You've helped them position for a capital raise. So to continue working together, of course, we encourage that. They can become one of your affiliates, one of your agents, one of your mentors, and then you can continue to work with them. So that's the best case scenario. Because remember, they can be a client, they can be a distribution partner, or they could be both. So with that, we spent a little less than 40 minutes going through your role as a financial literacy educator, taking clients through the 4-week small business certification, which is the front end of the larger Access to Capital program. Once you finish with that 4-week curriculum, they have increased knowledge, they have their loan package, they have their key person policy at least started, and then they're going to work with us, a member of our staff, to go ahead and finish the funding. So thank you for your time. We are super excited to work with you. If you viewed this and said, hey, I'm not a mentor, but I want to become one, let us know. Reach out to us. If you're already a mentor, you needed this training, I hope it met your needs. If you're an affiliate and you said, you know what, I don't really want to work with clients, I just want to generate leads and get paid, then great. If we reiterated that's the right seat on the bus for you, and yet you understand what happens with the clients after they come aboard, then that's a success as well. So stand by, I'm going to stop the recording, then we'll do Q&A.